is intended for mature, open-minded audiences only. If you are easily offended, we suggest you turn this wacky shit straight off.
My quarantine beard is getting out of control. Like,
you gonna go full wizard?
Beard. I think so. I think I'm just gonna make the run while I'm at home. I gotta be honest. I'm going.
So you're going the opposite.
Yeah, I'm getting older, and
no, a lot of people are shaving their beards off because of the.
As a safety concern,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Chris I'm not going out much.
He's pointing that wizard beard to the wind.
You shall not pass.
I guess if you're sequestered at home, it's like not a big deal, right?
I mean, I'm fucking doing the only things I really like to do socially, and I do a lot of, is pinball, and I can't fucking do any of that. So.
Hey, do you still have that machine in your house though?
I got 2 right now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
funny.
Not nothing.
We actually got together because they make a bunch of Xbox and PlayStation 4 apps with pinball on them, and they're like the real tables with physics and shit. So once every couple of nights, we all get together and do little online tournaments where we have to just report scores into a Facebook chat while we're Skyping. It's fucking great.
That's a great idea.
I'm surprised nobody has made like a miniature one. They probably have, and I'm just being stupid. But some you put your iPad in that mimics a pinball machine and then just play on your iPad.
Yeah, they have that.
Aid cap thing. I wouldn't surprise. I've seen exactly what you're talking about, but it's not plug and play.
Yeah, it'd be like a Crackman box, but instead you would just insert your iPad, and at that 45-degree angle, the ball would fall.
Well, I know there's an
really cool.
That one called the iCade. I don't know if that has.
Yeah, that was initially a April Fool's joke by ThinkGeek, and it was so popular that they made it for real.
Yeah.
Speaking of April Fools, wow.
What up, April Fools?
What a footnote in today's headline.
How about that March? Wouldn't it be great if the government came out and said, you know what, guys, it's just the flu. We're just fucking with you.
Yeah.
I know that
checks, April Fool's not coming.
Yeah, that'll be the April Fool's joke. I know that couldn't happen and it wouldn't happen, but after, like, I think it would be equal parts rage and relief, right? Or do you think it'd be more rage than relief? Because we've all been holed up for 3 weeks.
I don't fucking know at this point. This is unprecedented. We just can't.
I think if the rage would come if the president said, remember that whole that money we were supposed to get, and that was an April Fool's joke.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Well, who knows when that's fucking coming, and if it's $1,200, it's like, listen, I'm going to cash it. You got to know I'm going to cash it. But $1,200 isn't going to help anybody with anything.
I mean, especially if you have a rent in Seattle. I mean, come on. Are you kidding?
Yeah, that'll get you groceries. I mean, if you got a family, that'll get you a month of groceries, right? Maybe. I mean, maybe not even that. If you, depending on how many kids you have or pets or, I don't know, your eating particulars. But come on, $1,200. Is it 1993, son? Well, now, if we sound different, it's hard to know at this point. I think everything's sounding pretty good. I think the Skype quality is a little lower than usual. Both of my machines just went tits up. The most recent one was literally like 5 minutes ago. I turned on, but to be fair, that G5, we don't even use G terminology for computers anymore.
No.
Was there? I don't think there was a G6. I feel like G5 was like the last one, right? It was like the
was like those giant clunky iPods that were like really thick.
The click wheel.
Call it click wheel. When those were popular, the G5 was popular.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, absolutely. I got that computer in 2003.
Oh, it's
2003, or maybe 4.
Jesus Christ!
It's amazing it was still even fucking running anymore.
Up until 5 minutes ago, it was. Yeah, it is amazing. But my laptop died. Go ahead, Lyle. Sorry.
You need to take that down to the river, down the mighty Columbia River, and then stick it in a little boat, and then set that fucker on fire.
Give it a Vikings funeral.
Send it off and shoot flaming arrows into it.
It deserves a fucking Vikings funeral. Every single Bloody Oranges album, every single podcast that wasn't live, every audiobook, every piece of production, ads that I used to make for the Wenatchee World, like everything that I've ever done was on that machine. So it deserves a Vikings funeral. And about 15
Make a
minutes
shrine
ago,
to it or something.
I'm never throwing it away. It will be a shrine. I'll make a fucking coffee table out of it or something. It looks like those are those big space heater looking
Fucking
things.
mount a fleshlight to the top of it and take it to bed, Ron.
I'll put a vagina back in that. Yeah, it deserves my dick. It fucked me today. I'll fuck it back tomorrow. But who knows? I've had something like this happen with it before, and I just gave it time off and turned it back on, and it worked.
You have a rest.
Yeah, it deserves one. We're all getting one right now. Yeah. Well, not
Well,
all
okay.
of us.
Speaking of, we're gonna need a new computer for the Ronster. We've talked about doing a little GoFundMe or something for some new gear. Are you thinking about that still?
I'm not. I don't want to do a GoFundMe. I'm just gonna say, if there's anyone listening who has enough money in their bank account and that wants to buy me a new laptop, I'm telling you, the timing of this is so fucking funny, and not because of the quarantine, but because I have been spending so much time dialing things in. I set up a new little studio upstairs, and I had everything set up to do like more video stuff. And the second I get that dialed in, my laptop goes tits up. So we were well on our way to creating way more content. In fact, I've been putting up videos and doing live streaming things since this quarantine, since before the quarantine. There's tons of stuff. A lot of you listening haven't seen it. In fact, you haven't even heard all of the podcasts yet because I've been so busy just trying to figure all this shit out. And then it goes tits up. So I'm gonna say this: if someone out there has a chunk of money they want to put down toward it, or just straight up buy a laptop for the Ronster to keep these endeavors going nicely, because I know the quality of this one is probably fine, but it could be way better.
Would you take a donated MacBook Pro maybe?
Well, yeah, that was what I was going to say too. If someone just wants to give me one, if they've got one laying around, this doesn't have to be new. It doesn't have to be super fancy, but I need a decent machine. Something that's at least dual 8 gigs at this point, because we really want to get into more streaming. But if you wanted to do that, I will reward you with a whole bunch of stuff. But I will make you a let's see, what would that be in that price range? Probably like a 4-foot tall painting of something of your choice. Now it'll have to be in my style, but I'll bust you out a Ron Evans original like you ain't
just a self-portrait of his cock with a robot dangling from the end of it.
Well, it's funny because I actually happen to have a 4-foot painting of Christopher, even though
4-foot dick.
I have a 4-foot dick.
So strange you
It'll
brought
be
that.
life size. But I've got a 4-foot painting of Christopher's face. Now, when I painted it, it was supposed to be Adam Eagle, but literally everyone that has seen that painting agrees it's actually Christopher. I'm going to bring that next time I visit you, Chris. I'm bringing that to you so you can hang it in your house, because everyone will believe that I meant to paint you. It's
hang
you
it right over my fireplace.
Yeah, little crackling fire. Anyway, so that's why maybe there might be some hiccups here. I'm hoping this episode works, but yeah, we need some help here. Because as you know, I lost Radar Station before all of this. I'm about a month ahead of y'all in being unemployed and home and trying to figure out how to make money online. So, if anyone wants to help, reach out to me on that. We'll see. Maybe I'll do a GoFundMe, but I got people looking into it for me. I feel that something will pop up, but I'd prefer it to be sooner than later, especially now that I just lost that Mac. But
I've been largely avoiding social media and the news as much as I can, just because it's really bumming me out.
I think a lot of people are.
For my quiz, I just got like it's a more traditional wacky quiz. So I haven't seen a lot in the news that's good. I'd love to hear if you guys have any good positive stories out of seeing something good come out of the darkness here. I'd love to hear that. You got anything like that happening?
Coming out of the dark. No, but I wish I would have thought of that to dial in. I mean, I've seen some stories, but I don't have any off the top of my noggin.
Well, one thing that I just kind of recently read something about was that Guy Fieri is apparently he's got something going on where he's helping people in like the food industry that have lost their jobs and stuff like that.
Flavortown, baby, I love it.
Right. Well, see,
Is
this
he
the
building
thing
Flavor
about-
Town? Is he actually building a community of
He
flavor?
is building Flavor
That's it.
Town. It's weird because like he gets so much shit, but he's really like a really awesome dude, and he does lots of really cool stuff that people don't realize. You know what I mean?
That makes me feel good because he looks like such a fucking douche.
Well, we've
I
talked
know,
about this.
right?
Maybe that's it. Like, why does Guy Fieri get so much shit? But it probably is.
It's
just
just
that
his
he-
style.
Yeah, he does just kind of look like a douche.
He looks like somebody that you want to give shit to, but apparently he's just a really fucking solid guy.
I've never heard a bad story. I've never heard someone say, you know, when he came to a restaurant to film it, boy, what a fucking cunt that guy is. But I've never heard
Yeah.
any story one way or the other, like personal stories. He's been all over around here, not
He's
in
done,
Wenatchee, but you know,
um,
all around.
He's done so like when the fires were ravaging California, like a few months ago. Seems like another year, right?
Yeah.
But he personally like went down there and opened up like a little like
Barbecue.
food truck restaurant
Yeah.
thing to like feed the firefighters and the people that were like displaced and stuff.
So did Dave Grohl.
Yeah.
Dave Grohl's got his own barbecue like food truck.
Oh, that's
That
exciting.
makes sense.
You know who else? I heard that Ryan
food
Reynolds.
cookers?
Yeah, it's got a funky name like that too. I wish I would have remembered. I heard that what's his name? Ryan Reynolds, who owns Aviation Gin, which I'm drinking tonight. Tonight's podcast is brought to you by Aviation Gin.
Yeah.
Not sponsored.
Not really, but
that'd be a
hey,
great
listen
sponsor.
up, Ryan. We're always open.
I just
Yeah.
learned that because Aviation Gin is legit.
Did you
Okay.
not fucking see the commercials him and Hugh Jackman were doing back and forth? Because Hugh Jackman has like a coffee company or something, and so as a joke they were like, let's make a commercial for each other's company. And so Ryan Reynolds did this beautiful fucking commercial for his coffee, and it's gorgeous, and they're watching it together, and it airs, and Hugh Jackson's face is just fucking pale. And because he made a shit video about his, you could tell it like a joke, and Ryan Reynolds made a real one.
Oh, that's hilarious.
They roll the video of Hugh Jackman's, and he's like, Aviation Gin. And he opens up a bottle and puts it on a coffee table and just knocks it over and watches it spill all over the table. That's his whole commercial.
That's amazing.
But
And
anyways,
Ryan's
Ryan
just all
Reynolds
thought out.
he's donating like 20 or 30% of the profits to COVID-19 victims or relief or one of the things. I thought that was cool.
Well,
I like
there you
hearing
go.
shit like that.
If you're a gin
Elon
fan, go
Musk.
get some aviation.
Yeah, Elon Musk shut down one of his Tesla places, and he's now 100% just building ventilators.
Yeah,
Which
the
I thought
fucking
was cool.
ventilators, man. The creepy,
Thing. So we're gonna need.
creepy shit that we're just out. Yeah, it's interesting that it's a fine line between capitalizing or seizing the moment as a business, as a company, in a time of need, or seeing a need, even if it's slightly opportunistic. I'm okay with that as long as it's fulfilling a need. There's a fine line between that and just like, and I know we've all seen this, people that are using like marketing ploys to try to cash in on
Exploiting.
the thing. Yeah, and it's sad because a lot of it are smaller businesses, and they're just desperate to stay afloat, but they're doing like little, quarantine specials. I guess to some degree, well, we're not doing this as a money-making thing. We'll make a few nickels off it, but we're going to do a living room burlesque show on Facebook coming up called Quarantees. My only involvement will have been coming up with that dad joke.
Thank God.
name. Ew, don't tempt me.
If you had them all like wearing T-shirts, that would probably work pretty well. Quarantees,
Yeah.
they start like the tees, but like in like T-shirts and shit.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're all just trying to survive. We're all trying to find fun in it. But every now and again, you'll come across something that's a little desperate or even a little douchey, where, just trying to capitalize on the thing. And there's always going to be someone out there capitalizing on a disaster. But
And that's the thing, is that you have to kind of like, I think you can usually tell when someone is doing something out of the goodness of their heart or whatever. And it's like they're trying to make some money off it because, listen, everybody has to fucking survive. But at the
Right.
same time, there's a difference between doing something to survive and doing something to exploit the situation and people that are in trouble. And I think you can usually tell which one is which.
yeah, immediately.
Well, there's all kinds of horrible shit out there always, but it's like I like Chris, I've been like thinking that I need to limit my exposure to social media and stuff.
Yeah.
But just like working from home, it's just like it's hard to keep away from, you know what I mean, just the news sites and stuff like that. And so there's just like a lot of bullshit out there, and I try to ignore most of it and just like, you know, there's a lot of horrible shit going on. But at the same time, you know what? So far, we're okay where I am, and we just got to hope that that stays that way and just keeping on and try to stay safe and do our best, you know?
Yeah, and I think as long as you're tuning into the updates and or at least reading the cliff notes of the updates, because they're doing a lot now, but there isn't a lot of news. You know, more numbers and you know, those kinds of updates. I don't think we need those. All we really need is major news, and you know, if they've extended certain, like they just extended, or they didn't extend anything, but they said it's probably going to be longer than we initially thought here in Washington State, and we're going to insist that you stay home if you don't absolutely have to leave. And just a reminder that you can be arrested and or jailed and or fined.
God. Do you
if
have friends that are
violate
having
them.
parties still? Like, do you have friends that are going out and doing
There
things
are a
still?
few people in my Facebook feed that are still. Well, what they're doing is like, hey, my family came in town to quarantine with me for a while. It's like, no, that's not how it works. I don't understand why we feel like we're like people are making up their own interpretation of quarantining. They're having quarantine parties. I'm seeing it mellow out. It was
Yeah.
worse last week and definitely the week
Yep.
before. But yes, I'm still seeing it, and it fucking baffles me. It baffles me
Yeah.
that it's happening. It baffles me even more that people are posting about it.
I
It's like,
agree.
how, like
I think,
okay, if
and
you're
they're getting shamed now. Have you noticed that? Have you seen people
they
shaming?
fucking
others?
should be. Nothing
Yeah.
nothing moves mountains in this society like good old-fashioned shame. And
Yeah.
I'm on team shame with this one because
Yeah, I agree.
whether or not it turns out to be anywhere near as bad as we think it is, that's beside the point. We don't know right now. We're being told to do a thing, and it seems pretty serious because none of us have ever experienced this before.
I gotta tell you, I got a group of friends that are still getting together once a week to play poker, and I get the invite on Facebook, and I'm like, "Are you fucking?" And I'm not talking like I'm talking 6 to 10 guys
Yeah.
getting together once a week, sharing cards and chips, and I'm like, "Bros, like we can't be doing this." Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to get them to like switch to a digital version, like where we can all just play from home. And
Well, that's an easy
PayPal
thing to
our
do.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
There's
not like
so
poker,
many people
I mean.
that just don't seem to be getting like what it means to social distance. It's like, you know, like anybody in your family or your buddies could have this and be exposed to it too. That means do not associate with people during this time.
Yeah.
Stay
It's so
fucking
simple,
home.
but
Well, the
people
thing is,
can't do it. They like
Yeah.
they are
You could
so
literally-
lonely.
Well, the thing is, you could literally have it for 5 days without any symptoms. You know, so if you're
Longer
going to
than
the
that.
card party,
You can have
You
it
could have
the
it for
entire
2
time.
fucking weeks.
You
Yeah.
can have it. You can never have symptoms. You could be,
Yeah.
and that they say those people are the strongest spreaders.
Yeah.
Like they have.
And
Hey,
then your
yo.
buddies at the and then your buddies at the poker game, one of them, 1 out of 10 will probably be in the hospital.
Nuts.
They won't likely die if they're young and relatively healthy, but
So long as
That's
That's not a guarantee either.
why would you
overwhelming the medical
fucking
system.
why would you fucking risk that? So you, like people cannot. I don't know. At first I thought it was like God. People are such socialites that they can't isolate for 1 fucking week without violating it. But more and more, I think these people are actually they're of a mindset, and I'm not going to say that they're weaker or more afraid, but they're of a particular mindset that their way of coping with this is a bit of denial. And like, right, what else could it be? If they think that everything they've heard is true, they'd be home like the rest of us, right? But if they're either denying what they're hearing, or they're ignoring what they believe. You know what I mean? Like there's some sort
they
of
don't
denial
believe it.
happening
Yeah.
there.
well, what it is it's the fact that they don't think they're immune to it. They're like, oh, I'm young, I'm spry. There's no way a little
Yeah.
flu's gonna make me
They're
sick.
not doing that.
But the reality is,
carrier
if you're a
mask.
smoker, and if you have asthma, you pretty much might be fucked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been curious. You know what a lot of people are hypothesizing. There's no evidence one way or the other at this point, but a lot of people are wondering, like, because it does seem to be worse for younger people in America than it is outside the U.S. And one of the theories is vaping. A lot of people think,
really?
Vaping is so popular here, and we don't know. We don't really have enough evidence as to whether or not vaping
Water vapors
does
in your
significant, if not damage, then at least like some sort of molecular change to our esophagus and lungs. You know, I would think that it would change something, but that's one growing theory. We'll find out, I guess, maybe.
I have to tell you, honestly, when I was trying to like quit smoking or get off of nicotine in general, at one point, I switched over to using those like blue cigarette things, you know, and it's vaping, and I got some funky shit. I had some funky reactions to that stuff a couple times. Like I could tell it was because of the water vapor. You know what I mean? I had some like weird nasal infections or lung stuff, and it was because of that shit. I know it was. And I never experienced anything like that smoking cigarettes.
Well, there you go. That's enough to be at least looking into it, right?
Well, because I mean, there's
anything that compromises you in terms of lung health is bad news for this thing. Go ahead, Lon.
Well, there's a few physical ailments. Like if you ever had pneumonia, you were more likely a chance to have pneumonia again. You know, it's little telltale signs, you know. Yeah. So it drives me nuts to see like people thinking that like you know, it's just if you're young you're gonna get past it. You know, the last time I checked on Facebook, there was somebody our age that was on a ventilator that was like crying, fucking saying "fuck my life, I'm dying." You know, it's like, okay, well, she's 36. You know, so it's not the old. You know, so
it's just incredibly selfish to not be to just not go one fucking week with practicing the isolation and or making up your own rules. Like, hey, my family's in town from Florida. They came to hang out and quarantine with me for a while. I saw someone the other day saying, once everyone's been safely quarantined, let's get together for a party because we will all have been safely quarantined. It's like, what does that mean? That doesn't mean anything. Like, if you are safely quarantined, that means you're home with whoever lives with you, period. And when you go out, every time you go out, and you have to go out either to work or to the grocery store or the pharmacy is the only places we're supposed to be going, you are at risk of coming home with something on you, as are all those other people. So this idea that we're in some sort of hyperbolic chamber of purity and cleanliness in our own homes is fucking ridiculous.
You know what kind of drives me nuts is the fact that we live, you know, me and Ron, we both live smack dab in the middle of Washington. Bam. We're in the hot zone, you know, for the most part, what the news would tell you. I go to dialysis and I come home and then I go maybe to the grocery store or maybe to get gas. That's like my life right now. And the whole time I do that, I'm usually wearing a mask. If I'll use a mask from dialysis because in dialysis we have to wear.
I'm glad to hear
that. Good for you.
So like I'll wear a mask when I'm going grocery shopping to pick up shit, and between that whole adventure and then coming back home, I don't see one person wearing a mask.
No.
Yeah. And the thing is I honestly, and this is just my own opinion, but I really honestly only think that this whole stay-at-home thing for 2 weeks is just to bide time for them to basically just get the equipment that they need for the viral spread. Because I think, honestly, in my own opinion, I don't think this is going to be over. I think we're going to have to be dealing with this for a couple months.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be 2 months.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think that, we're slowly settling into it. And if they told us this, 3 weeks ago, like, look, your spring and part of your summer are gone. And they are. They're fucking gone.
Something else I heard.
That'd be hard to take all at once.
2020 is canceled.
They're easing us into it.
You're absolutely correct, Lyle. That is the whole point of that, is to slow the spread. It's not like it's going to kill it. But you're absolutely correct that's the whole point of the quarantine, is to slow the spread so we actually can be prepared for
Right,
if
so
it
nobody's
hits
all
hard.
sick at one time. You know?
But
Yeah.
one poker
So
party
did you guys
throws
see
it all
the
off for one
pictures?
town.
Did you guys see the pictures of what they're doing at CenturyLink Field in Seattle?
I heard about it, but I haven't seen the photos.
Yeah,
what's going
I
on?
saw pictures on Twitter today. It's setting up. You remember when they were talking about the FEMA camps for when like we were supposedly
Sure.
going to be rounded up? That's what it looks like.
That is-
Is this going to be like a
They're-
hospital?
Yeah, it's
Like
for
temporary
overflow.
hospital?
They're preparing for overflow for beds for sick people.
Yeah,
Well, thank God they're preparing and not reacting to being over. I keep hearing like
Exactly.
I live literally. I see the hospital from my driveway. I can see it. I keep waiting like for that just to be. I don't know what's going on there. They're not reporting on it, so I'm like, ugh.
Well, that's scary for you because you're on a fucking island, dude.
Well, it's peninsula.
Wow. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, no, you're right. Because I drove home from your house.
Yeah, I mean, then we have
Well,
bridges.
if you go
and
the
stuff,
other
so-
way, you can access it by boat, and then the other way is by big bridge. It does seem like
I mean, they lost a Washington State Ferries worker due to the virus.
Yeah,
It's nuts. So.
Yeah, you see that hospital or that military ship that's just like a floating.
Yeah, they was supposed to come to Seattle, and then
Every-
he changed it to LA.
No.
Uh,
Well, that's the hospital. I meant like the military. There's some military ship that's filled with soldiers or the military personnel, and like one or two of them tested positive, and they're like, "Well, we've seen the flu on a ship before, so this entire ship is about to get infected." And
Well,
like
they're
every
like,
day,
brace for impact,
there's more and more. I think they're like half infected at this point, and they're just like out on the water, just like, okay, well, you don't get more quarantine than this. So they kind of
Did you
think
hear
they're
the
docking
fountain?
them.
Did you hear the Fountains of Wayne singer died?
No,
Yeah.
from Corona?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Really?
yeah. Complications of COVID-19.
Huh. God, he couldn't have been that old.
Yeah, probably just about our age.
52.
Okay. Well, maybe wrong,
Come
Serge.
on now, baby, baby, baby. Come on, what's wrong? That guy? That sounds away.
More
Yeah?
like Adam Schlesinger was his name.
To radiation vibe, I'm grooving on. Am I thinking of the right band? That's Fountains.
I don't know that song. Yeah.
I know the band. I know the band. I
Shadow.
don't know any of their music off of hand.
I gotta look it up real quick. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong.
something that I
It's
heard.
like Stacy's mom who's
Yeah,
got
that
it
guy. I
going
think that
on.
guy.
Damn.
Yeah.
Something that I heard through dialysis was that they're closing the parks and closing fishing areas and camping areas in
I
Washington
think
State.
they did that.
Well, that's kind of fucked.
Well,
I
that's
mean,
the other fucking thing that people are not getting.
They're like
some
they're
are-
flocking to hiking.
Let's go.
zones
Let's
and
all
stuff.
meet up in the woods and go hiking because you can't pass germs outside. That's something that I'm seeing on all over my Facebooks. People out doing hikes and walks and bike rides. It's like,
I think we're gonna
Okay.
get to the point where they say that shit is banned.
yeah,
really
I think we are. I think they imply shutting down these. You know, the governor of Washington said, you know, go out and get some exercise, get some vitamin D because vitamin D is very important for battling this thing. Nothing gives it to you like the good old sunshine. But if we're going to be dipshits about it, and
You still have
just
to
like,
maintain your distance.
it's like, are we this? Is it this hard to be alone? Are we this terrified to spend some time alone with our thoughts?
I'm not. Fucking A.
I'm not either. Sarah and I are like very equipped. In spite of my very public life for the past years, I'm an introvert. I like spending time alone. I like working on my own projects. I don't get lonely. I guess I get a bit of stir crazy because I do like to go work in public. That's why I spend all my time working down at the market. It just has a different vibe. You run into people and you get a bit of that social thing, but it's also a good networking opportunity and just a change of scenery. I tend to work better when I'm not always at home, but yeah, it's not nearly as hard on me as it is for a lot of people.
You know what I'm having a hard time with, honestly, is so I'm working from home. I've been working from home for like the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I can't even fucking remember. So weird for me is to like when I'm done to try to transition into okay, now I'm in the exact same spot, the exact
Yeah.
same place.
It is weird.
Now it's not work.
How do I go from what I was doing to relaxing or doing something different? You know,
You know,
I'm
that's-
just like I don't know what to do now.
It's funny because I think, and I went through this about not quite 10 years ago, but when I first got laid off from the Wenatchee World, oh God, that was about 10 years ago. Good Lord.
Yeah, it was. Goddamn world.
I spent a lot of time working from home and working on my paintings and doing miscellaneous things. And there was some money coming in, but between, Leah helping me out with the bills, the money that I was making, and a little bit of severance pay, I had several months where I didn't really have to worry about things. I could just kind of do my own thing. I didn't like it. I didn't like the whole working from home thing. And I wonder how many people are going to realize, because I would wager that most people would think that that's like the dream. Just roll out of bed, put on your slippers and your house coat, make some coffee, hit the old Pornhub, and then get right to work. And
I think a lot
of
really
people
like
won't
it.
dig it.
I like the whole aspect of it because like I used to have to get up at like 5 a.m. to get, to commute to work. And so like there's like 2 hours of my day that I don't have to worry about just kind of basically wasting.
Yeah,
now.
that is waste.
It's like 4 hours.
And honestly, even if I'm not like doing anything productive, at least I can sleep during that time. And that feels like it's something good,
Right.
Yeah.
So at least that 1 hour in the morning where I can get that extra bit of sleep, or 2 hours even. And then in the afternoon, I don't have to like waste that whole hour coming home. I can just immediately go to walk the dog or just do something productive around the house or
Start dinner.
something like that. Exactly. Start dinner.
Yeah.
But it's just the transition from, okay, I'm sitting on the couch on a computer. Now I'm going from that doing work, going from that to sitting on the couch using my Xbox. I need to do, it's like I can't go to the gym.
Yeah.
And that was my favorite thing to do.
There's no breakup.
recently.
Yeah.
You have to
Exactly.
be very
It's-
disciplined,
it's-
and
It's
very
trying
organized.
to figure out the breakup.
I could tell it's your favorite thing to do. Like, when we did that little video chat and you were shirtless the whole time, I noticed a little definition there, John Mark. You've been working
Man,
it.
it was
Piling
crazy.
them in
Like
them
I never
chicken
thought that
wings.
I'd be into going to the gym, but like I really started to enjoy going to the gym like 3
Makes
times
you feel
a week,
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So too.
And that's something I really miss. And like right now, I'm just embracing my inner fucking chud. But it's like pretty soon I'm gonna feel like
Embracing
okay,
my outer chud too. If you know.
yeah, exactly. And I'm gonna have to be like, okay, I need to get back into doing something because I'm just like eating fucking snacks and just like, you know what I mean?
I went
Yeah.
straight off my diet when I got.
We're all
when
gonna
I
get.
got
We're all
laid
gonna
off. I was
gain
like, eh.
quarantine pounds. I don't think that's bad. I think, and I think even Joe
You gotta-
Rogan was saying something similar. It's like we have no idea what's coming, but it's not
Yeah.
good. It's not going to be good for a while. And the way people
Maybe
are
we'll need those
panic
extra
shopping,
pounds to,
maybe
like,
we will
survive for a while.
Absolutely. Maybe we'll be forced to ration eat a few weeks down the road. So yeah, why don't we tack on a few pounds? But on the other end of things, it's like, well, whatever life is like on the other side of this, I wonder how many people are going to be able to go back to work, because
Yeah.
that's the flip side of it. It's like, well, now I have seen the land beyond,
You're right.
Yeah.
and I've discovered that I can work from home. So why can't I just work from home? And who knows what life is going to be like. I feel like everybody, all of the experts, no matter what their politics, all of the ones that are really treating this thing seriously, they agree on one thing, and that is that life is never going to be the same after this.
Nor should it be.
We shall see. We are learning so much about ourselves. We're realizing how much of our time we spend at work. Some of us, we're talking like everyone's at home. There are a lot of people out there that haven't had one day off since this thing, because their job is only crazier, and they're desperately hiring, like grocery stores and in the medical industry, of course. So obviously we understand that this doesn't pertain to everybody, but a growing number of the worldwide population, they're learning a whole different way of life and slowing down. even with the stress of losing the job or having to close your business or not knowing what's going to happen in the future or the anxiety over the fucking virus itself, we're slowing down and getting in touch with things that maybe we've been taking for granted or we've been putting off. You know, some people just went right to fucking work. Like, you know what? I'm planting that garden. I'm organizing that closet. Other people are like, fuck it. I'm watching Netflix every day for 10 hours. I'm going to gain 10 fucking pounds. I'm going to eat all my food until this battle's over. And there's no wrong way,
God.
you know, as long as
Right
you're
in
not
the
hurting
middle.
other people. I think that's probably the best place to be. You want to be
I'm
somewhat,
a believer.
I've tried to
Moderation
do-
and everything.
I've not been on unemployment since I did it once when I was 19. So I'm officially as of next week on unemployment, and it's fucking with me just a little bit. So I've been trying to like every day do something around the house, you know, one project, one cleanup,
yeah.
you know, and exercising, trying to get out, get there, get that walk, you know. It's just fucking weird.
Yeah,
So weird.
it's easy to slip into a bit of a depression with it. Not necessarily a clinical type depression, but just like a circumstantial
bummed out
feeling down about yourself, even though none of this is any of our faults. A lot of people are failing right now in a traditional sense. Like they're failing at life because of something that they had nothing to do with. It's a really strange thing to come to terms with. It's a difficult mental exercise to even wrap your brain around what's happening and what we do about it. Because I don't know about y'all, but I'm not feeling terribly confident in the leader of this here, the leaders, plural, actually, in this here nation, that there's a cohesive plan to get us back on targ. But the thing that has given me some sort of peace in a strange way is that like we've said in some of the other conversations we've had recently, we're so far beyond the normal threshold of fucked that it's not really ours to figure out beyond our immediate means and surrounding in our household. Let them fucking figure it out because it's theirs to figure out. You can't ask us to close our businesses and stay home indefinitely. And then, but go ahead and, you just figure out your bills. Good luck. There's going to have to be a major moratorium, whether that's on the front end of things or reverse engineering it and prorating things. But I think we're about to see a massive shutdown of the banks in a way that we haven't seen before. Not that they're all going to be closed, but I mean like shutting off things like mortgages and certain cash flows. I mean, we've already passed so many extreme bridges that we're going to just keep passing a few more. You know what I mean? And that money is going to have to come from not owing, because I don't think it's going to work as well for the money to just come from $1,200 checks here and there. Reimbursement isn't going to do it at this point. We're going to have to not owe. I think that's the only way we move forward at this point.
Yeah.
Anywho,
They
I
do
agree.
it with big businesses, so why wouldn't they do it with the populace? Bailouts for big businesses,
yeah.
Yeah, and all
Why
that
is
money
this-
came from us in the first place too.
right?
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. It's like, consider it a loan. Consider
tax
it
money.
a loan. We won't charge you interest. Just give us our money back. And take care of the people, because that's your fucking job. And I think, again, if this epidemic is what we're being told it is, I think they're going to have to, because the money's there. We all know it is. And there's some tricky shit to figure out, but they're going to have to fucking do it. They don't have to help everybody on planet Earth. They just have to help the Americans that are fucked. There's a lot of
Indeed.
people that
Yeah.
will not be fucked in this situation. There are millions of people in this country that won't be fucked.
Well, this just basically is going to illustrate the fact that there's no middle class anymore. It's rich and fucking poor.
Yeah.
That's it.
And we've been so I don't know about y'all, but in my neck of the woods, in my household, I've been ingrained with this idea that these isms are bad and to be rejected, whether it's socialism, communism, whatever the isms. It's time to move past the
Capitalism.
isms. Well, that's an ism too. It's time to move past the isms and just figure out a fucking system that is working.
How does this work
for more
for everybody?
people? Percentage wise, look at any fucking pie chart. This shouldn't be that difficult. It's difficult because it's happening because a very small, very powerful, very greedy pocket of men are making it happen. If this is what it takes to uproot them, at least there's that. So fucking be it. I don't know about most people listening, but I don't feel like this system has been great for me, and I have worked my ass off. And I know everybody on this show has worked their ass off. Lyle paid into a system his whole fucking life, working his ass off. Do you mind if I share this info, Lyle, that you shared with us in the text about your...
Oh, no, go ahead.
Lyle recently went to go apply for an EBT card, which, that used to be called food stamps. Now it's on a card. I just got some myself. It's fucking great. It's great. You have a credit card that you don't owe any money on, and you can get food because you're broke. It's a great system. Lyle, after paying out his ass, I'm sure, for years and years and years, as soon as he needs a little bit of help, he goes and stands in line, does all the phone call waiting, all the paperwork, all the bullshit you got to go through to get, what was it, $17? They gave you $17?
It was $16.
$16. They may as well have just taken that card and shoved it up your fucking ass. And this is my point. It's like, does that sound like a fucking system? It doesn't even sound like a system.
Well, you know what's sad?
It's a fucking scam.
The lady that actually helped me said that there's a lot of people that go in there, because the reason why I'm getting it like 16 is because I'm on Social Security, because of my illness. A lot of people come in there with Social Security, elderly people, and sometimes they only get like $1,000 a month in their Social Security. Mm-hmm. And she has to tell them that they could only get like $16 for a month for food stamps.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because the numbers...
It's
because
ridiculous.
Some people would say, oh, you're getting benefits from the government already. Well, then fuck you. Yeah, you want to try living off of $1,000 or even $1,500 or even $2,000 a month. You want to try living off of that if you have a house and you have a mouth, and you can say, well, you don't need TV or the internet. Just sit in your fucking room and enjoy. That philosophy or that attitude is actually more rampant than you might think, and it completely excludes the very important part of the story, which is this person, especially if they're a senior citizen, this person paid their dues all through life, and the government can't toss them more than a nickel because of that. Meanwhile, it's pointless. All that really does is raise the blood pressure. But the good news, there is good news in this, is that I think this is going to go so far into the red that there's no figures, there's no plan, and there's no reimbursement or buyout or bailout or stimulus package on planet Earth that will save it. The only thing that saves it is, let's burn it down and start again. There are people that will fight that with their dying fucking breath. Some of them because they're the fucking bastards that are profiting in this bullshit situation. Or they're people that were like me, that were just raised by people that were raised by people that were raised by people that just fear a certain thing and to just cling to something as if that's the goddamn American dream, and you're a fucking commie if you go against it. And we all know what Red Dawn and Rocky IV taught us about commies. We have been eating nothing but propaganda our entire fucking lives. And so when the shit starts hitting the fan, we're like, but wait a minute, that is the Yuki. I was told that was the Yuki part of life. And like, well, why? Explain. Sit down and explain what about this life is winning for you? Stop and do the math. Just ask yourself, is this current system making me flourish? Some of you will say yes. I would wager most of you won't. Go ahead, Lal.
The ridiculous thing is, it's 300 miles north. It's free fucking healthcare. Okay, Canadian people make fun of the U.S. because they don't have a stable.
Everybody
The world does.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
See, that's the thing. And we're still clinging to this idea that we're the goddamn bald eagle of space. And there's nothing more mighty and glorious. I do believe that this country has a lot of amazing things that some countries don't have. But it's time to put this fucking fly or die bullshit to bed and just make a situation that works for everybody.
I think this is going to be the thing that finally humbles America. I got to be honest.
Yeah. Well, it
The
will.
thing that humbles us.
And you know, your friends, and I don't want to shit on your friends. We all have them. There are people that I dearly love that I'm seeing that are still having their versions of weekly poker night, and it's like, every week that this goes forward, I feel like we're trimming some of that away. Some people, they just have to get to a certain point, and they're like, oh shit, this may be more serious, or even their denial has to catch up to. Or maybe they just get sick. Or maybe one of the, I don't want to even say it, but, you know, someone, it's only a matter of time. I feel like by next week, late next week, all of us will know somebody that is in deep physical health issues because of this virus. That is what it's going to take for everyone to, because I'm guessing that no one that's going out and doing these things and refusing to stay home and refusing to isolate and go along with
A lot of people
what most of us are doing, that they don't know anybody that's sick with it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are still just working. They're just like every other day, dude. Even though they're, because they're
It's
advised.
so fucking sloppy, man.
I told-
Isn't it crazy though that like 3 weeks ago, like 3 weeks, everything was like normal, and now a growing portion of the American population is begging the government to force us to stay in our houses.
Yeah,
That's
it's
how
nuts.
quickly
And
life can
it's-
change, man.
It's weird because it's scary because we're not at the worst part yet. You know, that's the worst part for me. Is like I know it's gonna get so much worse before it gets better, but how much worse? Ugh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
No
Not
one
to be
knows.
Downer.
Nobody
That's
knows.
the problem. Exactly.
Well, that's the whole thing. Nobody does know if they open up like business as usual in 2 weeks, and it's nothing's really happening. Then all of a sudden it just fucking comes in a big horde. You know, because
That's not going to be good at all. I don't think that's going
Not.
to happen.
Well, shit, we're at an hour almost. Why
I
don't
want to jump into.
Why
you
don't
want to save your stuff?
Why don't
for
I
next
save my
week? And-
tiki thing? We can wrap up this conversation however you guys want. We talked a little on the live podcast and then the St. Patrick's podcast about this, but I still get people emailing asking our opinions on it. So I think it's fair to do at least one more show.
Opinion show.
Hopefully. And you know, no one really seems to want to talk about anything else. Like I feel like I'm ready to talk about other things, but every time I see podcasts trying to do it, the listeners steer them back into it or the guests steer them back into it. It's just like, I don't know if we're ready to move on from this, at least as an overall topic. Anyway, yeah, let's save my tiki thing for another day because it's a pretty involved, and maybe I'll do that more as a. It might be fun to do as a presentation, kind of like I did the St. Patrick's Day one. Maybe not necessarily live, but with graphics and because it's a little history lesson. Well, I'll think about it anyway. So yeah, let's just finish this conversation up, and then we'll go into some news quiz and get on out of here. My last bit of 2 cents is I think that there will be a sort of VE day like there was after World War II when the coast is clear with all of this. But the reason that I think so many people are starting to piece together that this is going to go longer than we're even being hinted by even the nayest of sayers is because of our own internalizations. It's like I don't know about you, but I'm starting to think about everything differently. Being in an elevator with 4 people, being at a sweaty, hot club, even with all my favorite people, like that was my life. I ran a fucking bar. The thought, like I'm looking back, like I was just playing back everything. It was like, holy shit, we were just all breathing nothing but each other's breath. And touching things in glasses, and, you can clean them all you want, but then you got to go stack them with bare hands. Then you grab them with bare hands, hopefully clean, and then you mix drinks. It's just like a lot of us are going to come out of this way OCD. And that's going to change the world in and of itself.
Isn't it weird? Isn't it weird thinking about that? Just like, hey, like 3 weeks ago, we were all doing this shit that right now we wouldn't even
Seems
fucking
insane.
be caught dead doing. Yeah. So like, it's funny because like, so our friend Stabbytron, Stabby.
Yeah.
She put a post on Twitter. She was like, is anybody else having, so I guess everybody's having COVID-19 dreams now. And at the time I responded to it, I was like, actually, no, I haven't really been having any dreams like that. The fucking last night, I had a dream that I was like in a bar or out in a pub or something. I don't know, someplace out in public. And a man comes up to me. He's like, oh, these are my kids. And he's like introducing me to his children. And I shake the boy's hand. And then his daughter kind of reaches her hand out. And like, as I'm reaching towards her to shake her hand, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? And I started like looking around for a sink. Like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
Do you think this is going to be the end of handshakes?
I don't know, dude.
Because we're still going to have flus after this, or we're still going to have evolving viruses.
And we didn't give that a second thought. And it's like one of my favorite things is to go see fucking live music. And it's like,
is my biggest thing. Like, can you imagine squeezing into the fucking El Corazon crowd right now at a packed show?
It's gonna be
sweat.
I think this changes us. I think also,
people stage diving and shit.
With movies going like what is it? The Hollow Man with the girl from Mad Men came out in theaters, and then a week later they made it available on video on demand.
Yeah, you can get everything in the theater right now. Well, not everything, but
it's like $20 for a 2-day rental, and I think
how fucking great is that? Let's sit back.
It's great, but
I'll pay $20.
I think
it's a good deal for 2 people to watch it.
I think this is going to be the end of movie theaters too. I think we're going to have a blockbuster video rental event here.
They've been dying out for a while.
I don't know.
Anyway.
You don't think so? I mean,
I think it might be.
Though, like that size screen with the fucking Dolby sound.
Yeah, with the expensive drinks, and you can't get liquor or pot, and
I don't
you can't
go to theaters as much anymore.
You can't watch it in your underwear like I like to sometimes. I don't know.
Eat an edible before you go. When you go to one of those theaters that has the recliner,
I am that motherfucker.
Take your own snacks with you.
I am that guy that walks in right before the movie starts, and everyone's like, somebody's smoking pot before they came into this movie.
And I think he brought Doritos. I agree. I agree that I do think this is going to be the end of, well, maybe not the end of movie theaters. I think this is the end of the way that we do a lot of things. That doesn't necessarily mean it's the end of the things. Like we still, after 9/11, we still flew, but it was a different experience. And it's flying is going to be that's another example. Does anyone feel like getting on a plane? You can get a round trip to just about anywhere in the world right now for under $500. Because nobody is fucking flying. Can you imagine getting on a plane with 9 people?
On a fucking bus.
With 9 people on a 747, I would feel weird being on that plane because we know how the circulated air works there. So I don't know the reason I got going down this is because the timeline. Let's say that miracle of miracles by the end of April, we're like, we don't have any new cases, folks. We're on the other side of this. Like, all right, so the moratorium gets lifted. Mm-hmm. How fast are we running out to the nearest pub, going out to a movie? We're going to want to. We're going to have urges. But at that point, after being isolated and being told all of the things that we've been told, finally being able to go 1 fucking hour without touching our goddamn faces. Has anyone else discovered how itchy the human face is? or how needy it is. Like it's just always calling for a hand. I have allergies, so I'm just like, my eyes are always just like, oh, and I never, I'm always aware. I'm germaphobe in general, so I'm always
Touching my
aware
face
of
right
what
now.
I've touched, and but I don't know. I just think that we're going to be hesitant to jump back into real life once we're given that green light. And so that could add another month to seeing things go back to normal. That's why I think...
Hey, does anybody else recoil in horror when they go to the grocery store and have to put their PIN number in?
Every fucking time.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, they're not all created equally.
Just
But-
make sure I think you have really good.
It is kind of ironic that the only places we can go right now are banks and grocery stores, which are like the filthiest places on planet Earth
We all
because
have
there's
to touch the
nothing but
same
money
thing.
and walks.
Yeah,
and
you know,
all that.
I went
What's
into
hilarious? Well, it's hilarious is all the grocery stores have put up sneeze guards. Do you notice?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I've seen that. Mhm.
Yeah, they're
I'm
all
a
got
fan.
sneeze guards. That doesn't help anybody, really. I mean, considering
Well,
I'm a
belts,
fan of taping off
probably-
the every 6 foot thing.
Yeah, I've seen that.
You've
I
heard
think
me
it's gonna be a
rant
thing.
about being
I'd
crowded
like
in
to
the
see
fucking
that just
grocery
be a
store.
thing. There are things that I think are going to be holdovers from this event we're experiencing, and that
think
may
so,
be
too.
one of them. Like just little marks you see on the ground everywhere that signify exactly how far you should stand apart from your brethren.
We'll save lives from the flu. Well, I will say this. When I was at the grocery store the other day, I was in line and like everybody else there, we're just like looking around, making sure no one's coughing. We're just like all like, just get out of here, throw the clothes in the washer, and I haven't been that anal. I have been scrubbing my groceries. I set up a little sanitizing station outside in front of my
good. Okay,
porch, and
you're
I've
doing
been
that.
I'm wiping off. Fuck yeah, I'm wiping off my shit. Can you imagine how many people touch your bag of chips before you bring them into your house? It takes
a lot of
it
people
takes
are
a
just
second to
groceries
wipe
in
that
their
shit
car
off.
for 2 days. Yeah.
But it's just one more step. But when I was in line, I saw one of the workers there. They got a worker there standing like a guard, like a fucking TSA guard, about to strip you. But they just say, okay, it's your turn, because they're staggering.
You got that fear/excitement boner. You're like, oh god, here
It's
we
a boner.
go. Finally gonna happen.
That's all we can know. It's a boner. Sometimes you just can't question it.
Check, please.
But I saw another worker go through and like bleach the entire scanner. The scale, the scanner, the touchpad, the keypad, everything. And then move on to the next one. I'm like, fuck yeah. Like that's what you want to see. And then
That's
I went
exactly. Oh, go ahead.
and then I went through and used it. And then as I was grabbing my bag, she was walking back up to disinfect mine. They were keeping that much, like, because it was fairly slow when I was in there. And when it's busy, I'm assuming they're going through and doing that every now and again. It's not going to keep everything down, but it's like, I hope that's a holdover. Not just from
I agree.
viruses, but fucking E. coli, raw pork juice, allergies, contamination, anything could be on that thing. Fucking hire a couple more people per store. That's good for the economy. Let them spray down the shit. Their entire job is to sanitize doorknobs, shopping cart handles, shopping carts, and scanners and belts. We should have been doing this all along. I know they do it to some degree, but it's probably like once a day, a couple times a week.
Once a week.
They weren't doing it every fucking after every third customer. I can tell you that. So, yeah, that's, I guess, a silver lining and something that I would hope will continue.
Yeah.
But 9/11 is
I,
kind of a good I'm sorry, I'm hogging them.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna say you and John Mark both nailed it. Like I went to Walgreens and right before I rung up, she like Purell wiped the pin pad down for me, and I was just like, "Oh, that's so
Yeah,
great!"
God bless you. Yeah, these people are the fucking heroes now. Mm-hmm.
It's true. Well, hey,
Well-
I've got a strange weird trivia.
Let's get on
I
to
have
some.
5.
Everyone's been waiting.
As I mentioned, well, first off, I've been drinking before we started this because that's all I can do these days is drink.
That's the other thing. We're all going to be We're all going to be alcoholic, overweight, neurotic OCDs on the other side of this. I need to set up a fucking cam guy. There can't be the cam guys have to be like 10% of the
my
cam
God,
world, right?
I have
They
to tell you
can't-
something.
or maybe
Fuck, it
less.
reminds me. This is okay. years ago, we had a guest on our show, a friend of mine from a podcast called The Mommy Gamers. Do you
Yeah,
remember that,
I
Marsha?
Yeah.
Jax?
Mhm.
She recently, I think she still does her podcast, but she, over the last couple of months, set up a myfansonly.com account. Are you
OnlyFans,
familiar with
yeah.
this?
Yep.
OnlyFans. So that's what it is. And because, she's like, okay, I'm not going to use this word lightly. She's a MILF. She's a mom. She's attractive.
Mhm.
She's a gamer. So she has this like fan following that's always trying to get her to
home
do
run, yeah.
something. She fucking finally set one up, and she messaged me about, we were talking about it, and she's like, I'm like, well, what are you putting on there? Like, are you actually doing like sexy photos? She's like, kinda. She's like, not like fully nude or heavily filtered, or sometimes I'll send like something with a tank top on, or with like under boob happening. And I'm like, are you kidding me? She's like, join you. She's like, and she put like a discount out for everyone at first. It was $3. I was like, I'll fucking pay $3 to see these. I gotta see this. So I did for a month.
Oh, so she's
Great,
not like
but
banging herself with
We
dildos.
need
or
to
anything.
hire her as a
But
counselor to get us
in
going on video.
Dude, in 2 months, she paid off all of her credit card debt. She is getting lavish gifts sent to her. I asked her if she'd come on and be a guest and talk about her experience. She said hands down she would. So if you're interested, we could get her on again.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. This is the perfect time for it because
Yeah.
she would inspire the next generation of do-it-yourselfers. Do it, quote unquote. So let me clarify. Now, is she doing? She's not doing full nudity.
Okay, so I subscribed for 1 month, and I got a little infuriated with how some of that process, because you subscribe and so you get her feed,
Yes.
but to get more you have to pay more. Like, so and so posted
So it's
to
incremental.
unlock, pay $3 to
Oh, that's
unlock it. And I'm
brilliant.
like,
So you're like
So,
$100
and I did at one point. I was like, I gotta see get behind this fucking store, and I wasn't disappointed, but I didn't mean I didn't have a little buyer's remorse, so to speak. I was
Sure.
like, $3, $4, $10 on this.
Yeah, in the apocalypse? Those are $3 apocalypse dollars, son. Well,
Yeah.
I'm thinking
So-
about going the other way with this. Like, I should start naked and charge
Ron the bathtub.
people to like
People want me to put it on?
slowly put things back on. Go ahead, Lon.
$3.
Three
Whoa.
apocalypse dollars, son.
We need to get a hold of her and have her help us out for video podcasting, man. She knows her shit.
Yes, she does.
Oh my God, yeah.
Well,
I know my
fair.
shit now too. My shit is I need better computers. It's that simple because I've
Well,
tried this with better
hard.
equipment and it worked. End of story. Better.
Baby.
Going back to one more reminder, yeah. If any of y'all out there have more than $3 apocalypse dollars, and you want to kick down a laptop for the Ronster, I rarely use it for porn. It'll mostly be for content. I really do. I ask a lot of my machines. I kind of only do hard tasking stuff, like music production and video production and editing, and you can type and write on anything. But even the new InDesign, like I just got the brand new InDesign downloaded. My last, it might have been what killed my computer. It's like, it gave it a stroke because those are beefy fucking pieces of software. I think that last one was like a dual 2 gigs. we evolved past that shit.
Yeah.
There are enough people out there that want to see a dude doing his thing to sustain it, but
Hey,
it's
Chris.
so much bigger, so much a bigger chunk of the pie for females. So I don't know if it's worth it for a dude to do
Hey,
it.
Chris.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could you imagine Ron in a fucking leather harness?
I can and I have, Lyle.
How much money do you think he could get? I think he could get a lot.
You see,
I mean-
Christopher alone would keep me fed because he
Yeah.
would be paying just
I
to-
got a $1,200 stimulus check coming.
and by stimulus, I
Log
mean
in.
stimulation.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's just say it's all going to end up in your
Log
leather
in and
trousers.
download. You know.
All right. That means Ronnie gets a, what was it?
I do want
Click my mouse.
I do want to talk tomorrow about King Tiger or Tiger King. Have you all
Last
seen
year,
it?
finished it by then.
Oh, you know,
Check
one
that
other
episode.
thing. One other thing. A lot of this I'm going to trim out, but this I'm going to leave in.
Yeah, we finished that.
I want to start this How Bizarre Movie Club. This is the perfect time to do it. We're all home. I keep saying that. A lot of us are home, and we have time to watch a movie. Our homework between now and tomorrow's episode. Let's get on let's choose Netflix. I think most people have a Netflix account.
Do you know about the movie watching party on Netflix they do now?
I do, and I was gonna.
Isn't that plug-in for Chrome, or is there something actually on Netflix?
We should do that for Patreons.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Let's set up a fucking movie date. Because what's great about that is I think what happens there is anyone that logs in has the ability to pause and also communicate while so we could all talk with people actually. Yes. Sorry if I hijacked.
And there's like a chat room and stuff too.
That's where I was going. But I think we should offer that chat room and that experience to watch it with us to our patrons, and you can sign up for that.
It's great.
We won't be doing this until at least a week after this one comes out, so you'll have time. Now, the next episode that comes out, we will have picked a movie, and we'll go with Netflix, and we'll find something. We'll figure it out. We will talk amongst ourselves. We got to pick something pretty special for the first time out. Now, this could be something that just looks like a steaming pile of shit. I like the idea of watching something that none of us have seen before, as opposed to right off the bat. Like later on, we can watch something like a classic, or we can take turns. Like, you guys got to watch this movie that I love that you haven't seen. We can do that. I think right off the bat, it might be more fun for us all to watch something we haven't seen. Sure. So we can kind of experience it the way the audience is experiencing it. But anyway, so the patrons will be able to watch it with us. And then the next episode of the podcast will be us dissecting it. So even if you don't want to be a Patreon supporter, you can watch it on your own time and then get caught up, and you will hear us doing a book club-esque review and analysis of it. And maybe we'll choose one of y'all to join us and weigh in with your thoughts, and you can stick around and play a round of weird trivia. It sounds like a good time to me.
There used to be a program called Rabbit that you could do that in. It was just called Rabbit. You could do that. You'd watch movies off whatever thing with a group of people.
You guys remember?
I'm not sure if it still exists. I think it might have actually shut down by now.
Do you guys remember Turntable.fm?
I loved
weren't
it.
you part of our little club for a while?
It was great.
Is that gone?
That was it's gone.
Now more than ever, the world needs that kind of an option. So what it was,
Turntable
you
go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead. You'll probably. I'm going to light my pipe again.
You were like a virtual DJ. You would basically queue up a room, and people could jump in there, and it had like this little animation of you being a DJ in the room, and the people that would join you would be like at the concert, and you would just queue up whatever song. It had like a built-in Spotify or Pandora.
Yeah, it seemed to pull from a similar collection
so
of
you
music.
could just pull in anything you want and make this cool playlist for people to listen to, and while they were listening they could chat about it and stuff. So there were several times I'd just hop into them with friends I have similar taste of music, and they would build this playlist for you to listen to, and you'd be working and listen it was so great. I wish Spotify would just make a plugin.
And the way that God, this was like years ago. The way that you like hit like or the laughing emoji on Facebook during a live stream. Yeah. What Turntable did was you could animate your little characters. You made avatars, and they were standing around in this virtual room. And if you were really feeling something, you'd like give the devil horns and start headbanging to it. It's just like,
it was cool.
Yeah, I like this. If you didn't like it, you'd be like, not bad, and you'd back off. So it was like a very animated, well, literally, way of letting people know that, yeah, I'm fucking feeling this, or yeah, maybe go a different route with your next one. Turning people on to some new shit and hanging out with friends. We need that now. We need Turntable.fm. Anyway, all right, let's move on to some weird trivia and get on out of here.
All right. So today, like I said, I was avoiding the news. So I don't have anything real current. Just got weird trivia for you. Got 5 questions. The order you're going to play today is Ron, which I have your name spelled Roan.
All right, well, that's what you got to call me then the rest of the night.
All right, Roan. John Mark.
I've been called worse.
And while you'll take up the caboose, it's the Turdish order, if you will. Okay. Question 1. According to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, the hashtag symbol is technically called this. Is it A, the Panther? B, the Octothorpe? C, the 410th? Or D, the Lib Lab?
The Lib Lab, okay.
One more time. That was the Panther, the Octothorpe, the 410th, or the Lib Lab. One of these is the actual name of the hashtag. Roan, what do you got?
It's hard to not go with Panther. And yet it is. I do know that we always refer to it. I mean, now it's hashtag, but it used to be the pound. It still is if you're calling the IRS. I don't subscribe to Panther, though. Again, in good conscience. I'm going to go with B, the Octo. What was it? Octo?
Sorry, I had to pull it up. It was the Octothorpe.
I don't. They
B?
all sound ridiculous, but I'm gonna go with B. Octothorpe.
Okay, Roan.
That might be an Easter egg for Holly. Yeah.
Joe Mark.
I'm gonna go with the 410th. I like the Panther too. That sounds like, but I'm gonna go with 410th.
A Panther sounds like something between a growler and a pounder.
Sounds like something from Futurama.
Like, give me a liter of beer.
Oh, man.
All right, Lyle.
You guys aren't fooling me, man. I love the 80s, and I said, Panther Cats go.
Oh, shit. If it's Panther.
Panther Cats go.
Oh, that is fucking... Panther cats.
Bouncing here and there and everywhere. Okay, question 2. Contemporary. Let me try that one more time. Question 2. Edit this. Make me sound good.
Sure.
Ron, wake up.
New machine can't edit. Sorry, Chris.
Roan, wake up, Roan.
Wake from your slumber.
Is that whoever that's for? Ain't me. I'm going back to bed.
Roan.
All right, let me try this again. This is going to be a tough word for me, apparently. Question 2. Contemporary chefs wear a tall, pleated white hat that usually has exactly 100 folds in it. What is the number 100 represent? Is it A? It represents the strokes required to properly sharpen a chef's knife. Or B.
I wouldn't have got it if you didn't correct it.
B. It represents the temperature in Celsius in which water will boil. Is it C? The folds represent each cut of meat you can take from an average large animal. Or is it D? It represents the number of ways a proper chef can prepare an egg.
Okay.
Once again, the contemporary chef wear a tall pleated hat that usually has exactly 100 folds, and those folds are like if the hat was a dick, the folds would be on the shaft all around.
Oh, I'm looking at one right now. It's on Louis. In fact, I'm taking a picture of it.
Yeah. Everybody's seen a chef's hat. Like a turkey's foot thing.
But I never thought about someone taking the time to count them shits.
Mm-hmm.
Or it being meaningful.
Yeah. They have 100 folds for a reason. What is the reason?
You do.
Part of the garb.
Ronster, do you want to recap there?
I'm going to go with
2.
There can't be 100 ways to make an egg. Well, why would you need to see my problem is real quick recap, because my problem is, why would you need to remember any of this shit?
Well, it's not necessarily I think it's symbolic. How's that?
Okay. One more time.
Is it okay? So they wear this hat that has 100 folds in it, and the folds represent this. Is it the strokes required to properly sharpen a knife? The temperature in Celsius in which water will boil? Each cut of meat you can take from an average large animal equals 100 cuts? Or is it represent the number of ways a proper chef can prepare an egg?
Okay. I'm going to go with the C, 100 cuts to an animal. I think that seems, that feels about right.
Okay. John Mark?
I'm going to go with the 100 degrees, the steam thing, even though I have no idea if that's scientifically correct or not, because I'm not looking shit up.
Okay.
Or if it's...
Because the hat looks like a puff of steam, kind of.
Oh, interesting.
It's a good test, man.
Deduction, John.
Why is
Mark.
that thing shaped like a giant mushroom?
Anal liles. Speaking of,
Now I'm enthralled.
Uh-huh.
It's a puff of fucking smoke. God damn.
God damn.
I was gonna go with the knife sharpening thing. Back in the day, they're probably using a whetstone, so it would probably take 100 fucking times to do it.
Okay. Question 3. When you think of America, you'd be hard pressed not to think of things like American Pie. Excuse me.
Bye, fucker.
That meant to be apple pie. The NFL, country music, and or corn dogs. Yet one of these things is not really American in origin at all. What is it? Again, apple pie, the NFL, country music, or corn dogs. Ronster.
I feel like corn dogs. Well, I'm torn between the pie and the dog. We've all
Aren't
been
we
there,
always?
right? The corn dog seems very German if you break it down. Apple pie as American, although that's the bigger saying. And pie in general is not an American. I'm gonna go with pie. I hope I didn't talk myself. I'm still leaning toward corn dog, but I'll go with pie, American pie.
Brave choice, Brown. Brave choice, Brown.
I am the same. I'm also torn between the pie and the dog. But,
Well, the corn dog is basically like it's somewhere between a cordon bleu and just
Some might say you're
schnitzel.
Some might say you're pie curious.
A Venus.
Yeah, I am pie curious.
but
I
I
ain't
gotta
also
taste
think,
them all.
Like that. I mean, I find it hard to believe that nobody ever baked a fucking apple with some fucking shit on it before
Outside the
America
US.
existed.
True, but
So-
but that doesn't mean that we couldn't call. Oh, is this like where it was invented or what?
I'm going with pie.
Yeah.
All right.
That's the bigger lie.
What about that country?
And now I'm going to sit back and twist my nipples in
And
satisfaction.
cry. Wow.
Venus Schnitzel. I'm gonna go with the hot dog.
Going with the
When in
corn
doubt.
dog. All right.
Excuse me. Question 4. This may be, and I realized as I was writing this that I, at some point, may have done this as a question in years yonder. So if you can fine tune your memories back a bit, you may know this. But let's see. The official national animal of Scotland is none other than this fabled creature. Is it A, the unicorn, B, the kraken, C, the manticore, or D, the phoenix? One of these is the official national animal of Scotland.
Tiny baby man, cool.
What's the
Rounds-
manicore?
What did you say?
What's the manicore?
It was a methodical or methodical.
Methodical.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was like a man with
Yeah.
a lion body and some other weird shit.
Okay.
It was like a
Squats.
lion's head
Hey.
and like a scorpion tail and wings and shit.
Yeah.
None of these
Big-
ring very Scottish. I'm sorry. What? Can you run through the answers real quick one more time?
The official national animal of Scotland is none other than this fabled creature: the unicorn, the kraken, the manticore, or the phoenix.
I am gonna go with the unicorn. I've heard a few Irish songs sung about the unicorn. They're
I
pretty
bet you
close
have.
to Scotland.
Unicorn in its horn.
Unicorn.
Are you one of those bromies, bro?
Oh, I tried to be. I really thought
Yeah.
that I could get into some of that My Little Pony shit, but
No,
no,
not
I
for
don't.
you.
I don't. It's just My Little Pony.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the phoenix for some reason. I just seems like a thing.
It does
Alright.
seem sort of like a Celtic word,
Coming up from the ashes.
kind of. Yeah.
Firebird. The firebird.
Lyle.
I'm gonna go. Oh yeah, the tiny little manicle.
Oh,
It was a God. I love the show cartoon Adventure Time, and they had a little tiny manicore.
I need to get caught back up on that.
So fucking funny. So I'm gonna
So
go.
good.
I'm gonna we'll go with tiny little manticore.
Okay, let's move on to our final question here, and then we'll go over the answers and see how you guys did. Question 5. The blue whale is the world's largest living animal. One little known fact about the blue whale is A, it only sleeps for 20 minutes a day. B, it has a second, smaller brain located near its genitals.
Same.
Relatable. C, when it gets scared, it will violently shit itself.
Same.
Well, I really wish D would follow that suit. But D, you can hear its heartbeat from more than 2 miles away.
2 miles.
Ronster, one of these things is true. Which is it? If you need a recap, just let me know.
I'm going to go with, it can't have a tiny brain by its dick. I'm going to go with, it sleeps for 20 minutes a night. That seems like a weird factoid. That's not quite dick brain weird. This is going to be one that bites me in the dick brain.
The dick brain.
I've heard of some animal that had like a secondary brain at the end of its body before, but I don't know if it was the whale or not. But I'm gonna go with that one.
Oh God! Tell me I didn't miss an opportunity to choose dick brain.
Lyle.
I'm gonna go by the relativity of a whale.
Wait, the what?
No, the relativity of a whale, like in size. If you think about a human in a fucking giant whale,
yeah,
and their heart cavity, it has to be like the upper torso of a fucking man.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a strange there was a village that lived somewhere like in a fucking Iceland or something like that, and they had this strange fucking noise, and it drove everybody insane. They could never figure out what it was, and I think it ended up being animal. Some type of animal in the bay was making this subsonic sound that would fuck with the people above water. So I'm thinking that it's probably maybe pretty feasible if a whale was down far enough that its heartbeat would be able to be heard for a few miles.
Boy, 2 miles, though.
Underwater.
Good. Analyze. I like this. All right, let's go over the answers and see how you guys did. Question 1. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, the hashtag symbol is technically called an octothorpe.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Roan gets a point right off the bat.
Roan is in it
Octothorpe.
to roan it. Octothorpe.
I have a little information on that for you, for those that are curious. The octo prefix refers to the 8 points on the popular symbol, but the thorpe remains a mystery. One theory claims that it comes from the Old English word for village, based on the idea that the symbol looks like a village surrounded by 8 fields.
And yet it doesn't at all.
All right, question 2. So Roan got a point there. Boom.
Right.
Fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chefs wear a tall pleated white hat that usually has exactly 100 folds. What does that number represent? The correct answer was, it represents the number of ways a proper chef can prepare an egg.
That's
The
fucking
fuck up.
crazy.
100 ways. Huh.
Fascinating.
The incredible versatile egg.
Okay. Oh, now how are they? Name them off, all 100 of them.
Yeah, let's hear him.
Bake, fry,
There we
flip,
go.
chuck.
That's another podcast for another time.
Wearing pants.
Yep.
Question 3. When you think of America, you'd be hard-pressed not to think of things like apple pie, the NFL, country music, and corn dogs. Yet, apple pie is not American at all.
Nice.
Apples nor pie were things that were created in America.
I'll
Apples.
score one for the Gipper.
Do you know that we, in Wenatchee, Washington, that was up until quite recently known as the apple capital of the world, just last year created our very own apple, The Cosmic
Is it
Crisp.
the Cosmic Crisp? It's fucking
That
delicious.
was the
I've had
first
one.
apple that Wenatchee created. I was shocked by that.
Yeah. Are they no longer the apple capital of the world?
I don't
You said-
think
haven't
I
been
don't
for a
think we've
long
been
time.
for a decade or two.
Wow.
I don't know who is.
I think New Zealand.
Fucking lied to.
I think New Zealand, and maybe there might be some country in South America. I'm not sure.
Oh.
Yeah, well, just looking around at
Okay.
all the orchards, they're all subdivisions now.
Ron and John Mark got that correct, so you both have a point. Roan has 2 points.
Excellent.
Excuse me, Roan. Apologies. Question for the official. Nope. The official national animal of Scotland is none other than the fabled unicorn.
Oh my God! I'm
Well, good for
that.
Yeah,
You-
Ronster.
well, you know the song-
Ronster.
The song that made me think of that was the Irish Rovers. I think it's called the Unicorn Song, and it's all about how Noah forgot the unicorn when he put all the animals on the ark. It's like a little kid's song, but it's an Irish song, and so. But that's by a band that's not really from Ireland. I think they're from Nova Scotia. Anyway,
Could you imagine going to an Ireland bar and then like being like an appointed day you walked in there and everybody was dressed up as bronies?
way over yonder. How does that song go?
It's
But don't
funny
you
that you
forget
say that. 'cause
my
now,
unicorn.
now that I think about it, there's actually a Pepe Deluxe song on the album Queen of the Wave that specifically mentions that, but something about like Noah, and it's like, don't forget the unicorn or whatever in the background.
That's the. But don't you forget my unicorns. We alligators and humpback geese.
No, stop.
Some
Stop,
chimpanzees. It's like a little kid song. I'll play it. I'll play part of it.
All right. Question 5. The blue whale is the world's largest living animal. Ooh, man, we are in dangerous territory.
Wait, you cut out there. Did I miss something?
No, I'm just stumbling over these fucking questions here.
Oh.
Question 5. The blue whale is the world's largest living animal. One little known fact about the blue whale is you can hear its motherfucking heartbeat from more than 2 miles away. Lie about that correct.
2 miles?
Yeah, here's the thing.
Mhm.
It weighs 400 pounds. It's the size of a piano.
The heart.
You can't hear
Yeah.
my piano from 2 miles away.
Maybe
It's the
underwater-
size of the
maybe
piano
underwater.
too.
Well, water can be a conductor of
Yeah,
certain sounds,
I
perhaps.
suppose.
I don't know.
Next time you're in a pool with your buddy, you go to one end of the pool and have your buddy go to the other, and you both go down. And one of you
Lost a fart.
that's you'll hear it.
So Lyle's done the research here. He was confident with his answer.
Sonic boom.
Every day. Hadouken, boop, bloop.
That makes Roan our winner today with
Well,
3
yeah.
points. Nice job, sir.
Yay, good
Tall.
job, Brown.
Back on top in
Permanent
these dire times.
record. You guys want to hear the permanent record? Since we've started How Bizarre, a number of wins. And this is mixture of lists, quizzes, and news quiz.
Yeah.
John Mark has 13 wins.
Good Lord.
Ron has 7.
Shit.
I got
Ron
7.
has 7. Yep.
Okay. Not bad.
Lau has 3. You know, it's just a mixed bag. Not
Still
too bad.
a clear winner.
Yeah.
We got some. I gotta more than double my game to get a good lead over him.
Yeah, you do.
Good Lord. Well, that was fun.
Good job, guys.
All
All
right,
right.
Joe.
Well, tomorrow, same
Well,
time,
yeah.
same place.
Let's
Well,
let's
actually,
let's
not
try to
same
get
time.
together tomorrow at noonish and pop this puppy out.
I'll probably
do you-
have something similar to today for you guys
Great.
for a little quiz. Okay.
Awesome. All right, I'll plug it then, and I'll get editing this. I'll put this one
Sir,
up.
Any
soon.
way to go live with that or anything? Is that just kind of a lost cause till we get you new gear?
I think it's. Yeah. Well, let's not do it with this one,
Okay.
because this one I'm thinking about maybe putting graphics in it, or I don't know, we'll see. Let me see what the quality of this one is when I play it back, and then maybe we'll go from there. But I'll let you know tomorrow.
Okay.
If anything, I got a backup. So
Oh, good. All right, guys. Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
We'll talk
Good
soon.
chatting with you.
It felt normal.
All right. It did. Yeah.
All right. Good night.
Night. Night.
Bye.
Some might say you're pie curious.
Views.
I am by curious.
But I
You gotta
also
taste
think
them all.